And I think from what they told me, it sounded like it was like, well, I've got the gonads, I've got the balls, or whatever you want to call it. I think as well, and I had a very fortunate conversation a couple of weeks ago about this, and it was like we just worked with a brand new client, and one of the things they said to me about why they chose us or me, however you want to perceive it, is that because I was the most expensive out of the ones they were talking about, and for like maybe a newcomer or etc., that sounds weird, right? Because it's like, why would you win the work but you're the most expensive? And I think from what they told me, it sounded like it was like, well, I've got the gonads, I've got the balls, or whatever you want to call it. I've got the confidence to say, no, this is how much my work, this is what I'm going to commit to price wise, but then also I'm going to follow it up with the value that I'm going to lead with as well.
Huge.
Do you think sometimes people get really like challenged on price?
Always. You're always going to be challenged on price.
And then how do you deal with that? I guess with them with the conversation, like, is there certain scenarios where you're like, no, we're going to maybe negotiate by this much. Our final price is non-negotiable here.
I think there's two ways to do it. I mean, I've been on the opposite end of the spectrum where I've bargained just for the sake of taking on the business, and I've negotiated myself into positions that are like the least favourable in the end. But it's easier said than done as well. But I think you've got to know your costs, know where you sit, know what you're trying to achieve out of that deal. Because sometimes you take on a deal with the hope that it's going to lead to bigger and better things. Which is fine if you know your market. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen in that way, but it's a calculated risk.